Welcome to the Equity Team Podcast, where we provide Sedona, Arizona real estate insight to help you thrive during your next real estate transaction.
Hello, I'm Chad McMahon with the Equity Team and Sedona Investing. And I'm going to quickly dive in and talk about some market changes to two really hot market areas for short-term rentals in Arizona. One is Sedona, Arizona. It's one of the top short-term rental markets in the country. The other one is right next to Sedona, and it's an oftentimes neglected market with great returns if it's approached correctly for short-term rentals, and that's Cottonwood, Arizona. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to talk about what's happened with prices. You know, it's volatile times right now with our national economy, worldwide economy, when it comes to real estate prices in Arizona, let alone the nation, and when it comes to short-term rental performance. And so you've got to be very, very careful that when you're purchasing a short-term rental, that your strategy for lifting up that property, for pushing the envelope on success, that it's going to work well for you. So here I go. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to start talking about Sedona first. And when I talk about Sedona, I'm not talking about Sedona proper, meeting the Sedona city limits. I'm talking about the greater Sedona area, which includes Village of Oak Creek Canyon, Lower Red Rock, Upper Red Rock, Loop Road, West Sedona, Uptown Sedona, and what a lot of people consider to be the Chapel area is what a lot of people call it. So this greater Sedona area, hot marketplace. And here's what we've been seeing. Here's the short version. The properties that have been selling, they are on the market longer, you know, in terms of averages. Properties that are not short-term rental friendly, we've seen depreciation, we've seen the market take a hit. Now, properties that are short-term rental friendly, that can be a real hot ticket, meaning properties that they're completely 100% short-term rental friendly and there's no conflict there. But there are also properties that have the features that short-term rental tenants are looking for. It doesn't have to be perfect, but properties that are going to be, you know, hot potatoes and they're going to perform well. We have seen good appreciation on those properties, especially if you can show at least 12 months of performance, or even better is 24 months of performance. But even if you can't show performance, there are enough people that are hungrily looking for those strong short-term rental properties in Sedona that when they do hit market and they look like they're going to be great short-term rental properties, they are going for above market value, and that's continuing to happen. And those properties are appreciating, but everything else is depreciating. So it's a unique times that we're in. I've certainly never seen this before with that differentiation in terms of what's happening with these properties. So that's the short and the sweet with Sedona. Now, by the way, as with all of these recordings, with all of these YouTube videos, podcasts, etc., if anyone has questions and you want to really dial it in and get specifics, the best thing you can do is pick up the phone and call me, or text me, send me an email, reach out to me. Okay, I'm happy to help anyone, no strings. I want to make sure that we're all educated, that if you're going to spend money and buy, I see it happen all the time where people buy short-term rental properties through agents that don't know what the heck they're doing when it comes to short-term rentals. I mean, the thing is, it's a financial investment based on returns. And most agents will say, no problem, I can handle short-term rentals. Sure, I've sold a bunch before, but they don't know exactly what to do in order to help their clients get to that point where they're getting a strong ROI. So please reach out. I really want people to be successful as they invest, and I'm happy to give advice and consult. So that's the short and dirty on Sedona. Now, Cottonwood is interesting. So Cottonwood has always been a softer market than Sedona, and it's really just because it's lesser known. You know, less people know about the Cottonwood area than know about Sedona. So I'm going to show you proximity to Sedona here. So the greater Sedona area is right here. Here's greater Sedona, and about 25 to 30 minutes to the west by southwest is Cottonwood area. Now, this is a hot market. It's a great short-term rental market. And what's happened with pricing in Cottonwood is almost everything has depreciated over the last 6 months. Now, the properties that are short-term rental hot potatoes, same criteria as with Sedona, they're going to be the ones that have the features that people want. Those have been kind of staying about the same or slight appreciation, but not like Sedona. Sedona, we're seeing a definite appreciation on those. Cottonwood, they're just kind of hanging in there. Now, the properties that are not good short-term rental properties, they have been depreciating. And we've actually seen some pretty substantial, and I'm going to be specific, we've seen approximately 25–30% depreciation in the non-short-term rental properties in Cottonwood, or for the properties, properties that can be short-term rentals, just not great short-term rentals. They've seen depreciation, but not as much. They've seen about 10–15% depreciation. But the ones that are, that I set my clients up with, those properties have been hanging in there and they've been doing fine. They haven't been seeing that appreciation that we were seeing last year, but they're hanging in there and they're solid. So that's a pretty good sign. And yeah, I mean, there are a few opportunities, in that area. Now, Cottonwood, it may sound like, based on this description, well, I should focus on Sedona. For some people, that's true. And just so you know, with the Sedona properties, basically, if you can do 900,000 to 2 million or even higher, then the Sedona market is probably where you should be looking. And again, reach out. I'm happy to help you with that. Now, if you are, especially if you're under 800,000 or under 700,000, you're definitely going to want to be in the Cottonwood market because there are a lot more opportunities there. Now, one more thing that's worth mentioning with Cottonwood, because there's a unique thing that has surfaced in the last year that has never happened before in the Cottonwood area. And that is that we're seeing a lot more of these properties that are in the 700s, 800, 900s, or even $1 million plus that have been coming on market and selling, finally selling. So Cottonwood was seeing a pretty low cap on values because properties that were, more expensive, they just weren't selling. The buyers weren't feeling the confidence to pull the trigger on them because it's really hard to wrap our minds, and this is just collectively, wrap our minds around properties in Cottonwood that are going to sell for more than 500,000 or 600,000, which used to be a lot in Cottonwood. It's not a lot anymore. So now there are a lot more of these properties. It depends on the day of the week that you check on here, but you can see there are quite a few in the 700s and above. So that's a good sign. It's a really good sign because it's showing that we're kind of breaking that mental threshold as far as what we're comfortable with. We, again, is just, I'm collectively just talking about buyers, and kind of buyer mentality. And it's also appraiser mentality, which is a really important factor too, because appraisers have been kind of mentally, the local appraisers have been mentally locked until recently. And now they're starting to appraise properties at higher values. And that's really helping us as professionals. And it's also helping sellers and buyers, so that we're struggling a little bit less with those appraised values when it comes to financing. So those are a few quick updates. Please, again, reach out anytime. Also, in our comments, please let me know what other topics you would like me to discuss and share information on. I'm happy to do so. All right. Hope everyone's doing great and stay safe out there. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Equity Team Podcast. To speak with one of our top agents, visit us at owninaz.com. That's owninaz.com. Or call us at 928-323-0031.